Okay, here we are. Good that you're watching video on demand of the weekly Monday stream. I'm gonna leave the door open because it's hot. It's hot in here. We're gonna go over some Summer Game Fest final things. Of course, we now are almost 2 weeks or like a week and a half away. I mean, a week from the Xbox show actually. So let's look at who are the winners, who are the losers. I think that might be interesting to look at. Then we will also go over the PlayStation business meeting. I think that is interesting as well. Good to see you, Melissa. How have you been? Saber Knight, Master Predator, I already saw you too. So thanks everyone for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. Severus, good to see you. Alt Blood, morning. Of course, over the weekend we got kind of an interesting situation where let me check if I can find it. I mean, people in the Discord have been sharing it too, obviously. Let's see if I go to shadows. So basically, I'm not sure if they already removed it. No, still up. So this post happened from Charlie, and Severus was the one to find it. At least I saw him like post it. Merci. I was at Ubisoft Bordeaux. Whoopie whoopie. Situation, well, do tell. Master Predator, are you okay? You seem kind of triggered. Hey, Fassy, good to see you too. Dealing with the summer heat while trying to run, drenched in sweat right now. Oh my God, Melissa, good luck with that. Yeah, when I run, I'm going to run like very early in the day. Because otherwise it's just impossible. But I would imagine it's even hotter where you are. But right now it's here like 22 degrees, which is not like that warm, I know, in other compared to other countries. But still, running above 20 is insane. It's no fun. So well, as you can see here, we got the LinkedIn page. They actually, this quick thought, this Saturday they're going to open like one of the biggest highways in Amsterdam, around Amsterdam basically. They're gonna close it and do a run for it because of the anniversary of Amsterdam, and then after that they will do a huge festival there. So I'm gonna run 7.5 kilometers. It's not a lot, but yeah. Brock says, I had a strong Viking run last Saturday. Tell us more. Tell us more. Guten Morgen, Dovenschmieds. Guten Morgen. Okay, Master Predator. I misread the situation then. But thanks for explaining it a bit. I wish it was warmer here. What Saber Knight, what is the temperature over there? So yeah, a lot of confusion, as you already said, Severus. But I still think there's more to it. So basically we had this picture. And over here. Can I just save the image or something? Oop. So we have the image right here. We can zoom in. So this person was basically like checking out. Let's translate this. Back from Bordeaux, where I had the pleasure to meet several development and tech teams, Assassin's Creed Shadows and its expansion Claws of Waji, La Forge, Anvil, and online services. Thanks to blah 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 and their commitment, 8 years, still strong. Cool story, bro. But you must know, if you are a member of Ubisoft, that you should not be posting these images on LinkedIn. But yeah, because there was a lot of confusion because of this date. As we see over here, 10/6/2025. So, and I get why, because we heard rumors that the DLC was gonna be in September, but might slip to October. That people were like, okay, this means, yeah, October 2nd. But in Europe, and again, this is from the Bordeaux studio, so in France, it's June 10th. So 10/6/2025. So that was the day of the event. So false alarm, but that was of course interesting. There is more though, because also we have this image that I think is very interesting. Let's check. Oh, wait, this one. Because if we zoom in here, what is this? And correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, it's a Misso, good to see you as well. 15/18, that's crazy, Saber Knight. I want a new bike. I can't run anymore. Oh, that sucks, Carl. Hope you get a new bike. Bikes are great. As a Dutch person, of course, bikes are the way to go. But look at this. I cannot zoom in more. But I think it's the co-op mode. Because it could totally be for the claws of a Wadji, but the way there are like 3 characters with some sort of description under them, it feels to me, this looks like an explanation of the co-op mode. People who write the month first are wild. New post-launch roadmap of AC Shadows. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but it feels like, okay, so you have 3 characters. You got your Brute, we got another, so... Right? If you do... Now and Yasuke are only here. This feels like, oh, this is the progression of the co-op mode. Am I crazy? I don't know what else this could be. So yeah, we're stalking people from Ubisoft Bordeaux now, Somaya. Thanks for joining. It went way easier than expected. I did the same one 2 years ago with a trainer, but this time with my sister, and I managed to do all the obstacles first try. Nice, Brock. Good luck, or good job on the Viking run. Posters would look great in my entry. I would keep my expectations low. Of course, that's always smart, but still, I think this might be something. Because I don't think, if it was like the bosses from the DLC, could be as well, but to me it looks like, okay, we got the co mode, 3 playable characters. This is the person with the scythe or whatever this weapon is. This is your Brute with the cannonbow, and this is another character you can play. Oh, they have like multiple ways to customize them. Here are these like the allies maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see. But it is a weird sort of picture that we have not really seen. These are assets we don't know about, I think. It kind of looks like a co-op mode, right? Yeah. But again, we don't know for sure. These are the maps. Oh, you have 5 maps at launch. No. Okay, that is maybe a little too much. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, of course. Oh, and by the way, the run I did was just for 7 kilometers, but it took us two and a half hours because of all the obstacles. That's crazy. But 7 kilometers with obstacles, that's 2.5 hours. That's insane. Dio Dragon, good to see you. Thanks for joining. No, Monster Predator, don't worry. I was like, maybe there's something we can help you with, but seems like you were seems like I misinterpreted the chats. So don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. So yeah, that's the first thing that is kind of interesting, right? LinkedIn giving us the new deeds. It will not save the terrible riding and open world in Shadows. No, because it will be something completely different. It will be a co-op mode that I think that is where all the post-launch resources are going into, instead of the actual single-player game. At least feels like that. Okay, I wanted to with you guys watch the and this might sound very boring, but maybe we learned some new stuff. The PlayStation business meeting. So I already looked at all the slides. We of course talked about that in the Sunday video. But I think it will be interesting to see. It's 18 minutes only. What's going on here? Jet Laner, good to see you. Good to see you. So I think that's interesting to look at. PlayStation gave an update on their strategy on the future and what else is going on, and they posted this business meeting segment, with the CEO, and basically Herman Hulst, of course, who oversees all the PlayStation studios, and also the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Hideaki Nishino. So let's take a look, and I hope that we learn some new stuff.
Hi, I'm Hideaki Nishino, President and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment and a CEO of the platform business.
And hello, I'm Herman Hulst, CEO of the studio business.
Herman and I are pleased to be here today to discuss the PlayStation business and to update you on our current momentum and strategic direction. PlayStation has been defining the gaming industry for the past 3 decades. The PlayStation brand is universally celebrated by both players and creators for the unique experiences we create.
Imagine if they would do a state of play like this.
From the first PlayStation released in 1994 to the PlayStation 5, we have demonstrated our commitment to innovation and supporting a diverse range of content from both third-party creators and our own PlayStation studios. And we are excited to continue pushing the boundaries of play to serve the PlayStation community and to grow new audiences. Over these past 3 decades, we have grown our business at an incredible rate. The current generation with the PlayStation 5 has already become the largest in terms of the total sales and operating income.
That's insane. So basically, they already made, I think this is operating income, right? The profit, $13 billion, which is more than the other generations. Combined, right? 5? No, almost. No, it is, because PS3 was -4. That's crazy if you think about it, that the PS3 got not a lot of... I mean, they sold the PS3, even though they sold it for a lot of... a really, really high price. They sold it at a loss. Like, they were making a lot of... Or they were losing money, basically, at the start of that generation. And it got better, but... Yeah, PS5 is, insane. But this is really mostly because of third-party companies. The microtransactions, of course. The profit on those. It's like free money for anytime anyone buys a skin in Fortnite, Sony gets 30%. Yeah, that does add up next to all the other games, of course, that they sell and other live service titles.
And our financial profile continues to evolve as the overall business has scaled. Sony Group's theme for the 5th mid-range plan is Beyond the Boundaries to maximize synergies across the group. SI's theme is Console and Beyond. We are building on the strengths of the PlayStation platform and the PlayStation studios, broadening our reach, audience, and the value we create for players and the creators. We have established a leading position in this console generation, and we are now focused on capitalizing on this momentum by driving greater profitability and investing thoughtfully.
I mean, established a leading position in this console generation. There was not really competition with Xbox, kind of going third party now. So yeah, sure, it's true, but the competition is kind of non-existent, sadly, anymore.
Let me take a first moment to summarize what the PlayStation experience means. PlayStation is an experience and a community who shares excitement. Our role is to connect players and game creators. We want to provide the players with the best gaming experience possible, and that means enabling creators to provide players with these amazing experiences.
I mean, it would be cool if they brought back the actual PlayStation experience, like the physical event where you would go to and play all these games and actually meet these creators, but I don't think maybe they're doing that, they're talking about the community, and yeah, they've been kind of neglecting that this generation so far.
Fulfilling this commitment enables us to serve 124 million players with access to over 12,000 games. As more players come to PlayStation, more creators do too, which attracts more players, and so on. This positive feedback loop has attracted over 4,000 creators to our platform, from the largest publishers to the smallest indie studios. All of this is showcased by PlayStation Studios. Through our studios, we have built world-class franchises and beloved characters. Year after year, we provided fans with niche narrative experiences and live service titles that demonstrate our obsession with quality, confirming that PlayStation is the best place to play. And we continue to explore new ways to connect players and new audiences to these.
I mean, to be fair, like during this generation, I would argue that world-class franchises, I mean, what new franchise did they make this generation? I don't know. Rich narrative experiences, sure, we had some, but it has been kind of lacking since Spider-Man in 2023. Of course, we finally get Ghost of Yote. But yeah, that's 2 years, basically, before we get another one. Growing live service capabilities. I mean, they did not really have live service capabilities, so of course, putting out one game like Helldivers 2 is growing it, but this should have been way bigger than it is now, with the amount of stuff they tried, and of course cancelled and all that sort of stuff. And then it felt like Helldivers was kind of a surprise to them as well, looking at how they were marketing that beforehand. So, this slide is basically like, sure, but all these franchises started on other generations, not here. So, yeah, they're really like in a good spot with PS5 because they did the other generation so well, not because the PS5 generation, I think, is going well for them.
These franchises through games and other media on console and beyond. The platform and studio businesses are the organizational pillars that allow us to deliver for players and creators. Tightly interconnected components which have each powered our success and are fundamental for us to continue executing successfully.
Yeah, they tried to screw us with live service and it blew up in their face, yeah, for sure. And of course, they're still going to try, and they should. But, yeah, it's not something to boast about in your investor call. But I hope we have Herman Hulst later on, and I'm curious what he's going to say. I must play God of War Ace Shadows Ghost, need that PS5. Oh, Carl, yeah. A bike, a PS5, you need a lot. Horizon, I can't wait for the new one. Same, Saber Knight. If it wasn't for third party, this generation would have completely bombed. Yeah, and they even got like free third party. Like Xbox coming to PlayStation is helping them. They got out of nowhere this year 5 extra games or more because Microsoft is also not doing well. So that's the crazy part. Sony really picked the best generation to slack. Does Death Stranding 2 online stuff require PS Plus? I don't know if it does. Herman, but guys, we have Horizon Online. Drops mic. So Maya, if they mention that here, I would be happy. They need to start with establishing franchise of single player games and make multiplayer for them like they used to. I mean, they tried Forspoken with God of War was seemingly doing a live service game. Naughty Dog was doing a live service game for Last of Us, but yeah. For one, they put Bluepoint on a God of War live service game. And yeah, Bluepoint obviously does not have that experience, being the remake studio. And Naughty Dog was doing The Last of Us Online. But if they would have put that out, that would be the only game they would support. So then we would not get single player Naughty Dog games. And it's still crazy to me that they kind of figured that out way too late. Okay, let's continue.
Now turning to the platform business. The PlayStation console is the gateway to a lifetime of player engagement and value, a deep and diverse library of first and third-party content, a valuable and compelling subscription service, and peripherals that enhance the experience. Our platform is stronger than ever. We continue to attract more players, and we now have over 124 million monthly active users.
This is actually insane because you have to remember that this was lost. So this was like after COVID too. So even after COVID, I do think that that's why they probably don't show financial year 21, because that would maybe be larger because of COVID. But seeing that jump, while of course what we heard is, okay, gaming got this huge boom in with COVID, but after COVID, people went outside again and played less games. But still, PlayStation managed to grow. Of course, the PlayStation 5 is a huge component of that. It does seem that more people are interested in the PS5 than they were in the PS4, because of course, yeah, that was like the PS3 generation did not do very well. But yeah, seeing this growth is great, and annual gameplay hours is pretty big too. Like, that's what it's all about right now. It's about the engagement on the platform, and not, I mean, that's basically, they want you to play as much on the PlayStation as possible, which makes sense because then there's a higher chance you will spend more as well.
Through the wide range of content and services we provide, these players are more engaged than ever, which has resulted in a record high gameplay hours. Our platform is also more accessible than ever. The PlayStation 5 offers the best way for players to experience our content, and as such, this player base has continued to grow. These players are highly engaged, spending more on the content and services than in prior generations. However, the PlayStation 4 remains an important access point for existing players to experience our content and services, and we remain committed to serving them.
So yeah, this is interesting, right? The part about this is that, okay, the PS4, still wild to me that it's for the first time the PS5 has more monthly active users than the PS4. But this is a huge amount of people. It's like 124 million. So this is around the 40 million. 40 million players using a PS4 every month that are connected to the internet. That's crazy. So yeah, it makes sense that Warzone and all those other games are still doing PS4 stuff, and the new Call of Duty is coming to PS4 again. Crazy. But yeah, this is also interesting, of course, that yeah, people are just spending more on PS5 compared to PS4. Now, I also think that there are just way more avenues to spend money, thanks to increase in services. Of course, you could on PS4 also have PS Plus, but yeah, the PS Plus can be way more expensive now. So yeah, then you spend more. Peripherals, Sony has way more peripherals now than during the PS4 generation, with the Pro controller, with the Portal and stuff like that. So it makes sense that this grows too. And content, yeah, I just think that because of the live service growth, people just, like, you would always have people who would just spend time playing one game. But now these games are way better at getting more money out of those players that stick around for one game. With Call of Duty during the previous generation, it was mostly the map packs and stuff like that. So yeah, that was like a one-time purchase, $15 or something every quarter. And now you can pay, yeah, basically buy an unlimited amount of things in Call of Duty. So obviously the amount of spend is higher. So interesting stuff. And I think this number is already higher than the previous presentation they did. So they're doing well, again, without really putting a lot of content out themselves.
Our content and services, and we remain committed to serving them. Content and services provide a consistent and a predictable base of revenue, and now represent over 2/3 of total revenue. This includes the PlayStation Store with a range of content, including ongoing franchise and new hits, and a PlayStation Plus, which provides profitable and recurring subscription-based revenue. The store business has a balanced portfolio of content with diverse characteristics. Major ongoing franchises consistently make up about half of this revenue.
That's insane, right? So these games make up more than 50% of the revenue. And this is the rest. That's insane. So that's why Sony was, of course, really fighting Microsoft in court for them, like, not wanting Call of Duty to be taken away, because that would probably be 5% of this revenue, and they don't have to do anything about that. So that's insane. Like, they don't even have to, like, first they had marketing deals with Call of Duty. Now they don't even have that because Microsoft owns it. So they're spending really nothing on like 5% of revenue from the PlayStation Store. Like, yeah, it's insane.
Comprised of live service titles and annual releases. But we also support a wide range of creators, which resulted in a collection of...
Yeah, that's what you also see. So there are 12,000 games put out, but the revenue is actually less than here because these are juggernauts. Now, I don't, like, maybe this revenue in total is more, so it's still more versus than the 9K games. But again, if there would not be a new game coming out on the PlayStation Store, Sony would still be fine as long as these games just put out content. And of course, they do have like a new release. But like, they would still have 50%. That's like still billions and billions of dollars.
Over 12,000 titles, pulling the rest of our store revenue and capturing breakout successes such as 2024's Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, Black Myth Wukong mention.
Complementing this is the PlayStation Plus, which provides recurring subscription-based revenue.
Yeah, that's crazy as well. So basically, the people, like every financial year, more people are going to the higher tiers. Of course, they've been doing pretty well with the classic games now on premium, but that's a significant jump. And yeah, that's just people that were already subscribed basically paying you more. And they also, I think, increased the price at least once during this cycle. Like, Sony, I think, really wants to... Like, they are going to Apple the shit out of everything. Basically, they want you on their platform no matter what. And they will do anything to get that to work. Because they now got you in their walled garden. You can only spend on their products. Anytime you buy in the PlayStation Store, they get a cut from it. So they are going to make sure that we have some sort of connection that we cannot let go of on PlayStation. So I really would not be surprised if next to trophies, and they are going to make, like, they want the next generation to you not even think about going to PC or going to another platform. They really want you in that ecosystem because they're getting free money from that. And I do think with Microsoft maybe coming with an Xbox that has Steam on it and Xbox and their own services, so basically being the complete opposite of what Sony is going to do, that will be hard for Sony maybe to combat that. But on the other hand, they got the mind share right now. They are if you walk on the street, if you name a way to play games, everyone will say PlayStation. Like, it's the top of the mind. They really want this to be the iPhone business moving forward. But yeah.
We are focused on driving profitable growth by increasing engagement and appeal, and by continuously improving the service proposition and the content that we offer players and subscribers. As a result, subscribers are increasingly choosing our premium and extra tiers, which now represent approximately 38% of total subscribers. Peripherals enhance the PlayStation experience. Through innovation in our lineup of peripherals, as well as third-party partnership, we are providing new ways of players to play. This includes the portal, which provides an additional access point to the PlayStation platform. Additionally, we are intensifying players' connection to our brands through customization and special edition designs.
Yeah, what they also note, maybe we'll mention that in a moment, but what they also note with the PS portal is that basically people that play on the PlayStation portal, they spend 30% more time playing on PlayStation, and they also play until longer in the night. We already talked about here how important those monthly active users are, those hours that people spend on the platform. And Sony is now just going to look at ways to make it as easy as possible for you to boot up your PlayStation and play a game. Just as simple as it is to open your phone and go to TikTok. Because that's the competition now as well, obviously. The videos that, on YouTube, you can very quickly watch a video, they want to make it as easy for you to access your games on PlayStation. Because again, if you do that, you will likely also spend more time. And spending more time means more money for them. So yeah, the PlayStation handheld, of course, that is rumored, only makes more sense. Because then you can actually take it outside of your house. And again, like the PS4 being as successful right now, imagine if the handheld from Sony comes out in, say, 3 years or something, or 2 years, and it will have the base features of PS5 games. It can run PS5 games, even though the PS6 might already be out. We know, looking at this generation, looking at the fact that there are 40 million, like almost half of the people playing PlayStation are still on PS4, PS5 will be supported for another 10 years easily. So if all those games can run on this new hardware or on this new handheld natively, that's a huge win for Sony.
And to celebrate our 30th year anniversary, we released a limited edition lineup of consoles and peripherals that honor the PlayStation launch in 1994, and these have been hugely popular with nostalgic fans. Underpinning the platform business is a strong focus on operational excellence. Our supply chain is geographically diverse, and we manage it strategically to meet the demands efficiently. Content distribution is an area where we continuously investing in and exploring the new ways to enhance player personalization, content discovery, and pricing optimization. And our player and creator services remain a key strengths, supporting our commitment to being the best place to play and publish. These areas are core to our ecosystem health and ensure we are well positioned for the future. To wrap up on the platform business, we have established a strong foundation for the future, reaching record levels of players and engagement. We are now focused on capitalizing on this current momentum and are continuing to drive monetization on content, services, and peripherals. I will now pass it to Herman.
Herman, yay! Okay, so basically, what they want to do in the future, multi-device ecosystem, so Portal, mobile phone, like maybe playing your games there through streaming, and again, like a handheld makes sense. Record levels of engagement and spend per device. Drive consistent revenue from content. So basically, what they have been doing now, they will continue to do. Because so far, there's no looming threat in the near future, at least. But of course, later on, there might be. Let's see what Herman has to say. We have Lucy saying, is Stellar Blade worth it to get on the base PS5? For sure. If you like what you see about Stellar Blade, you will like it. It's an action-focused game. Has some Souls-like elements, but it's way more like hack and slashy. And the soundtrack is great. Story is cool. If you can get it for like a discount, that would be even better. The GOAT is finally going to speak. Frankie, she was saying, I use Reddit only. Well, you're still on YouTube, though, in this chat. So that's not true. But yeah, I think you don't count, you compare it to Instagram or TikTok. I mean, people are spending 4 or like 3 hours on their phones, like on average. And that's like 3 hours not spent on PlayStation. And Sony wants those hours. They don't want you scrolling the TikToks. They want you to play games. And to be fair, that's actually a good thing. More people playing more games instead of scrolling on their phone. I think that's, yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, Herman, take it away.
Content, services, and peripherals. I will now pass it to Herman to discuss the studio business.
Thank you, Nishina-san. To accomplish the studio business's goal of consistent and profitable growth, we are focused on 3 key strategic pillars. First, we are continuing to advance our creative leadership in single player, delivering the experiences players have come to expect from our studios. Second, we are establishing a diverse base of live services, broadening our business model and capabilities. Third, we are capitalizing on our strengths as an IP powerhouse, creating new IP, cultivating the potential of our gaming franchises, and unlocking new areas of growth beyond gaming. Across all of this is a strong focus on efficiency and reliability in our development and delivery processes. PlayStation Studios is a global network of exceptional teams across North America, Europe, and Japan.
Why have they not fired this guy? Because, it's going well. That's the crazy part about this generation. Even though it could have gone way better if they actually hit, if they put half of the studios that they put on live service games on actual single player games that would have launched. Bluepoint, Sony Band, those studios could have launched a game by now, and they are cancelled because they were working on live service. London studio, the list goes on. But still, like, looking at the numbers, it's going up. It's going up. So yeah, I guess that's. And then you got Helldivers that is doing really well. So again, I agree. I'm not happy with the performance from Herman so far, but I get why investors are at least not like pitchfork. Hey, he has to go. But I think the like later slate of Horizon Online, fair games and all those types of games, those will be important. If those fail, I think it will be hard because obviously Ghost of Yotei is gonna do well. Obviously, the next God of War is gonna do well. Obviously, Spider-Man 3 is gonna do well. That's not on Herman. Herman's thing is this: Haven, San Diego, Bungie, and yeah, Bungie. We all know what that happening there. But yeah, I think this evolving multi-genre. Let's hear what he has to say, and then we will look back at it because there are some interesting things here.
Each studio specializes in delivering category-defining content for our players. We continue to refine and develop this portfolio to achieve our strategic goals, and recently announced the formation of 2 new studios, Dark Outlaw Games and Team LFG, further illustrating our commitment to innovation and growth.
Yeah, so Team LFG is a spin out of Bungie. So this is a studio that is doing seemingly a Smash Brothers MOBA type thing. Yeah, it seems kind of like a more focused on family and stuff. But yeah, it was the most promising incubation project that was at Bungie. And Dark Outlaw Games that he also mentioned is the studio from that was first Deviation Games. And it's from ex-Zombie or Call of Duty Zombie people. But like this is interesting. So I think it's good to know, okay, Insomniac, just single player games. Housemarque, Saros, of course, just single player games. Asobi, they will likely do something Astrobot again, just single player. Naughty Dog, Intergalactic, and they have another single player game. And we all hope it's Ghost or Uncharted. Sucker Punch, only single player makes me think that Ghost of Tsushima Legends, it's not happening. It's not happening because then they would be here, right? Then they would have, because here Guerrilla Games is doing Horizon 3 and the online game. So those are 2 things. So yeah, that makes me think it's just Ghost of Yotei and then they move on to Ghost of, place your bets. Santa Monica, also interesting. So God of War, new single player, and the Cory Barlow game is also single player, thank God. Fire Sprite, they did the VR game for Call of the Mountain from Horizon and are now seemingly doing Until Dawn 2, also single player. So yeah, live service, this is of course MLB, this is Fair Games, this is the one that I already touched on, Destiny Marathon, so this is the Call of Duty Zombie stuff, Media Molecule, of course, they are doing an EYP after Dreams did not go well. Bluepoint and Bend Studio still being here is interesting because we know they were of course working on the God of War. Like, they did Demon Souls, and then they were working on the God of War live service game. Yeah, that is probably, like, they're doing something else. I would be shocked if they still are doing live service. Like, their live service game got cancelled. I think you would put them back in single player, right? Let Bluepoint make another remake. Let Bend do a Miles Morales game inside Days Gone. That would be what I think would be the best way forward. But yeah, they're still here. Maybe next time we see this slide next year or something, they will be in single player. But yeah, for now, single player and multiplayer. And Polyphony is of course Gran Turismo. Then this is the PC port studio. This is the co-dev studio. Arrowhead with Helldivers. Yeah, they're just publishing the games that they are making with Death Stranding, of course, Kojima, and Helldivers over here.
Our single-player titles consistently deliver world-class narrative experiences that resonate with millions of players around the world. These are our core strength, providing a base of recurring revenue through consistent annual releases. We've proven this year over year with our tentpole releases and are continuing to do so with our pipeline of upcoming titles. Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2 on the Beach in fiscal year 25, and future releases of Intergalactic: The Erratic Prophet and Marvel's Wolverine. I'd like to spotlight one of our most exciting recent successes, and the releases of Intergalactic.
Yeah, this is interesting. So yeah, basically, and they want to keep doing that. So annual temple releases underpinned by established and emerging franchises. So every year we should get at least one of these single player games. I don't think Intergalactic and Wolverine are going to come in the same financial year. I think next year is going to be Wolverine. The year after that's going to be Intergalactic. But yeah, and then we have the Cory Barlow game. We have the second game from Naughty Dog. And yeah, Horizon 3. Yeah, a new Gran Turismo, of course, on PlayStation 6, you would think. The next God of War. So that's like 5 extra titles that I can like think of right now that we still have here. Saros is not even on here. I think Saros not being on here is kind of interesting. And they also put Returnal not on here either. Huh, that's interesting. They see them as smaller, I guess.
The Erratic Prophet and Marvel's Wolverine. I'd like to spotlight one of our most exciting recent successes and one of our most anticipated upcoming titles. Released last fall and created by Team Asobi, Astrobot was a smash hit, achieving universal acclaim among players and critics and sweeping industry award shows.
I think it's interesting though that they put Astrobot like on that list, but not Saros and Returnal, while I think in terms of copies sold, I mean Astrobot is still bigger, but I don't know, it's not like way bigger or anything. It's not close to a Ghost of Yotei, for example. I think it sold 1.5 million in a few weeks. Oh, it probably sold more by now.
Players of all ages platformed through a rich world inspired by PlayStation's storied history as they saved over 300 bots across the universe. Looking forward, Ghost of Yotei, the latest installment in Sucker Punch's flagship Ghost franchise, will bring players to the wild and beautiful plains of Hokkaido this October. This title is expected to build on the success of its predecessor, Ghost of Tsushima, which sold over 13 million copies and captured the imagination of players around the world.
That's huge, by the way, 13 million copies. I think last year they announced it was 10 million. Ghost of Tsushima sold 10 million. Oh, that's in 2 years after its release. And now it sold 13 million. Of course, on PC it was really big. It was the best-selling game last year in May in the US. The PC release of Ghost of Tsushima. That's insane.
We also remain committed to building a diverse and resilient portfolio of live service titles. MLB The Show, Destiny 2 and Helldivers 2 have established enduring player communities and provide a strong base for our ambitions in this category. We are building on these successes, leveraging key learnings as we look to the future to further refine our capabilities. We look forward to further showcasing our progress with Marathon, our new title from Bungie. With all of these titles, we are engaging players year after year, providing ongoing content and experiences, creating a recurring base of revenue, and further fortifying our business for the future. I'd like to spotlight 2 examples of our live services strategy in action. Helldivers 2 from Arrowhead Game Studios has been a resounding critical and commercial success. In addition to winning multiple industry awards, the game has sustained a healthy
Fair Games
community
mentioned,
of
yeah. Did they, by the way, remove the dollar sign? No, it's still here. It's still here. Okay.
It's a strategy in action. Helldivers 2 from Arrowhead Game Studios has been a resounding critical and commercial success. In addition to winning multiple industry awards,
He uses the
game
Mark
has
Cerny
sustained a
voice.
healthy community of engaged players over a year post-launch, with the majority of these players on PC. The December Omens of Tyranny update further evidences our ongoing commitment to driving the game's success and delighting players for
Further evidences, is that something you can say? That sounds like a Dutch saying, but he put it in English.
Years to come. We are also very excited for Bungie's upcoming title, Marathon, an innovative and bold take on the extraction shooter genre. We expect to build on the success of these titles and further grow our capabilities in live services. Finally, let's turn to our third pillar, franchise and IP expansion. We have a long and proud history of not only creating iconic games, but also growing these into iconic game franchises with enduring fan bases. Each of these franchises has over 2 billion hours of engagement each over their lifetime. This track record speaks to our commitment to cultivating franchises through thoughtful release cadences that meet player demand while also fostering longevity. But we also remain committed to investing in new IP and believe that our pipeline of new and emerging IP has the
New IP, Marathon Fair Games. We believe that our emerging pipeline of new IP. Oh man, that's kind of sad that the only 2 games that they can come up with to put in the new IP segment are Fair Games and Marathon. That just hurts. That hurts. Where's Saros? He forgot about Saros. They have this huge new Housemarque game and he just doesn't mention it at all. It's crazy to me. Hey, am I the only one excited for Marathon and Codex Seeker? I think you are. Sorry about that. No, but real quick, this sheet is pretty interesting too. Or this slide. Because what they're basically saying is franchise lifetime engagement hours on PS5, PS4, and PC based on company research and may be updated in the future. God of War has the most played hours. And sure, it has multiple games. But that is insane to me. Because it's only PS4 and PS5. So these older games, PS3 is not counted. Or PS2. So it's like people like playing them through PS Now. That's what this is. That cannot be many people. They even forgot Ascension. That's crazy. Where's Ascension? But that's wild. Right? I think it's mostly like Ragnarok, obviously, and God of War. But, I mean, it's being like, I've said it multiple times, God of War is the biggest thing Sony has. Because it sells more than Spider-Man, and they don't have to don't have to pay anyone. Don't have to pay anyone. But Destiny only being here, to me, I think is wild. I don't believe it almost. This game is huge. But yeah, sure, it misses Xbox. But this game is huge. Or are they only like counting the DLCs or something? They're counting Destiny 1 and 2. And God of War has more player hours. I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't believe it. This is getting constant updates. This is a one and done game. There's not even DLC for these games. That's crazy. PC port, sure, but I don't know. Spider-Man also more than Destiny. I think that's wild. I mean, we know people played a lot of these games, but they're relatively short. Horizon being there, I think is pretty good. You cannot count these last 2 games. But yeah, these are pretty big, obviously. Like, it's 50 hours for the Platinum for both. So, like, 100 hours. That's the maximum you can spend on them. Obviously, a bit more, but I think that's crazy that Uncharted is bigger. Because it's a linear game that you cannot spend, that you can only spend, like, 10 hours in, or 15 maybe. Last of Us with 2 games. Sure, they re-released the heck out of it, but 2 games being higher than Uncharted with 4 games. That's also wild. There are so many wild things, I think, here. But, yeah. But, yeah, who did say that? And yet they canceled the God of War live service game. Imagine a God of War live service game that would actually work. That would be insanely huge. But, yeah, they gave it to Bluepoint. But yeah, maybe you don't want to do it. I think God of War, just leave it alone. Just release a big single-player game every 5 years and have it be the biggest thing you have. Even though you have this live service game with Destiny that actually makes sure that people log in every day. It's crazy to me. But yeah, Horizon with Horizon Online will of course be third next time. No. It will probably surpass both Uncharted and Last of Us. If it doesn't though, that's not good. Consort Citizen, thanks for your support. StarCraft should go the Warhammer 40k route, third person action. I'm not sure what the angle here is, but I appreciate you super chatting. They actually looked this up. StarCraft Ghost. They were actually going to do a StarCraft game, like you're describing, but they canceled it. Maybe Xbox will bring it back because StarCraft is a huge franchise they're now sitting on. But yeah, there was already a plan for that. But maybe now with Warhammer 40k, they're like, maybe we can actually do this. Space Marine 2, that is actually doing well. We need Twisted Metal games again. Well, they were trying 53 Nights, but that sadly got cancelled too. Because, yeah, that was like a... They want, like, the All-Stars, the Destruction All-Stars people were making a live service Twisted Metal game. But yeah, that obviously did not do well. Redwood Venom, good to see you and happy early birthday. Tomorrow is my birthday, that's awesome. Was this made before the Saros reveal? That's impossible because the Saros reveal was in January. And they made this last week. Don't worry, we will play Horizon Online with you. Thanks, Melissa. Because I might not be able to find anyone else. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? I don't know. I hope I'm not kidding. We have a second God of War still coming this year. Well, Crash, that second, sadly, God of War game seemed to be a Metroidvania, so not a real God of War game. Spider-Man should be their biggest thing, though. Yeah, but I think that's just because you cannot, like... These games, you can spend an unlimited amount of time. That's the sport games. God of War... I mean, Spider-Man is basically their biggest thing, were it not for God of War. And maybe Spider-Man would be bigger if they did not include 1, 2, and 3. I think it would then be, like, more interesting, but... I'm curious what Lego Horizon... Like, looking at this whole thing here... I wonder if you remove Lego Horizon, if it would just be the same. And the VR game, by the way, too. I think they should have just, like, removed these. Because then it looked way more impressive with 2 games having this huge, like, thing. Instead of, like, including these 2. We need the new game in Horizon game graphics. Well, a Harrington laser. Check Death Stranding 2. It's basically made on the Horizon engine. StarCraft game from the Coalition. Oh my god. Maybe after Gears of War E-Day. And yet they did not cancel Venom. I mean, we don't know that. We don't know if they cancelled Venom. They probably did, though.
The potential to graduate into similarly enduring and resonant franchises. Ensuring our franchise...
Uncharted mentioned...
also resonate beyond game.
Oh my god, what is this? An Uncharted ride? Did anyone know about this? There's an Uncharted roller coaster? What the heck?
Gaming is also a key priority. By bringing intentionality to how we do this, we strengthen our franchises and
hey, Steven,
increase
good
their
to see you.
lasting revenue. We have a proven track record of expansion into film, TV, and other formats.
Yeah, Saber Knight, you know I will be there with Horizon Online. Yeah, I know. We will be able to make a party, but I hope that the other people will do too. We'll be able to do that too. How do they track Uncharted hours? I don't think the PS3 tracks hours. No, that's why it's only PS4. Wow, that makes it actually even more impressive for Uncharted. That it's like that high because PS3 is not included. So it's only people who played those games on PS4 and PS5. Damn, son.
And have leveraged our IP effectively to deepen and expand engagement. We remain dedicated to staying true to the stories, the worlds, the characters of our games, while adapting the content to suit new mediums and appeal to broader audiences. And we are thoughtfully driving into new opportunities, including merchandise, to further deepen fans' connections with these franchises. The Emmy Award-winning HBO series The Last of Us is an excellent example of our franchise expansion efforts in action. The Last of Us returned in April with Season 2 premiere.
The Uncharted also tracks multiplayer on PS4. That's true, but I would argue that the multiplayer, while unlimited on paper, I don't think it like counts a lot. I need to see the new Santa Monica game. Khalid, yeah, I agree. That would be insane. When will the Black Flag remake will come? Before April 2026. Yeah, it will have good graphics because it will be on the Shadows engine. And you can say what you want about Shadows, but it is a pretty game. Venom seems kind of bland. I mean, I don't think the Venom game would only let us play Venom. I think it would just continue the story and then have like Venom sections, like more Venom sections. But I think right now with them being this quiet, that they're likely putting all that effort into Spider-Man 3 and make that the best thing possible. I hope that that's at least the thing. Horizon movie, looking forward to that. Yeah, they're doing a movie now. Although I would have preferred a TV show. I think that would have been better.
Performing the Season 1 premiere's impressive viewership numbers. The show continues to cement itself as a cultural phenomenon and has already been renewed for a third season. We're also very...
It's of course interesting that they say 5.3 million Season 2 premiere viewership, up 13% versus Season 1. But we of course know that the whole viewership, I think, has gone down.
Very excited to bring the hit action comedy series Twisted Metal back to Peacock this summer. The first season introduced the Twisted Metal franchise to new audiences around the world, and the second season is expected to take audiences for another high-octane ride. Central to all of this and our objectives is a clear focus on operational excellence. Our portfolio management framework enables us to balance risk and return by carefully evaluating each title's potential to contribute to overall business goals. Our development and testing framework ensures ongoing oversight of every title, continuously validating and revalidating our creative, development, and commercial assumptions and adjusting as necessary to ensure titles remain on track. Finally, we have a balanced operational footprint consisting of our global network of studios and external and outsourcing partners, complemented by central functions and processes. This rigor allows us to deliver amazing games that exceed player expectations consistently, reliably, and efficiently. In conclusion, the studio business is in an incredibly strong position. We have
Incredibly strong position. It would have been better though. It could have been so much better. That's the sad part.
Advanced our position as leaders in the single-player space and established a strong foundation for our live services strategy. Our focus is now on building on this success.
Two coaches saying we need another Uncharted. It's too popular to end. I agree. I mean, it's mentioned here a couple of times, even though it doesn't have a new game since 2016. It's almost 10 years since Uncharted 4. That's insane. But yeah, I think the second project Naughty Dog is working on is Uncharted.
We will do so by continuing to deliver incredible experiences in single-player and live services, while also expanding our franchises beyond the console and beyond gaming, all while maintaining the operational and financial discipline and future-facing investment mindset required to drive sustainable profit and long-term growth.
Thank you, Haman. PlayStation has been evolving play for the past 30 years, and we continue to invest in expanding our audience, deepening engagement, and enhancing experiences. We are exploring new ways for players to access our content and services. The cloud streaming beta on the portal, which was announced last November, allows players to play games directly from our servers without PlayStation 5
Finally, Herman ends.
console.
To be fair, I think it's nicer to listen to Herman than to the other guy.
We are continuing to bring major PlayStation Studios franchises to PC. We are also investing thoughtfully in key technology areas, including cloud and artificial intelligence, to enhance player and creator experiences, and to drive further enterprise-wide efficiencies. Collaboration with Sony Group is the differentiating advantage for PlayStation. The success of The Last of Us and Twisted Metal with Sony Pictures are excellent examples. And
Yeah, the Ghost of Tsushima Legends Crunchyroll TV show they're doing.
we are also excited to be partnering with Crunchyroll on the recently announced.
So that makes me think there is still going to be Ghost of Tsushima Legends stuff, right? But on the other hand, they have Twisted Metal 2 and they canceled that game. I don't know. I would be shocked if there's not a multiplayer mode for Ghost of Yotei like Legends.
Ghost of Tsushima Legends anime. Geographic expansion is another key area.
Yeah, this is like, I think, one of the most underrated things that Sony has been doing that has been paying off. Like going to these, going to China, India, and the Middle East and North Africa and looking at games, giving them the funding, and then having them exclusive. That's huge because maybe you get the next Black Myth Wukong. And because they are so active there, they did get Black Myth Wukong earlier on their platform. And what we have seen so far is that games from those areas, like Phantom Blade Zero and stuff, they are going to be, like, those are, I think the top 10 most anticipated games right now consists of a lot of games out of these territories. And it might only grow because, again, we've not like tapped the potential there. So I think Sony going there is really good.
And the Middle East and the North Africa Hero project launched last summer, alongside existing programs in India and China, are helping us tap into these regional growth. Finally, as we evolve and innovate, we are
Yeah, they did do that with Stellar Blade as well. Yeah, again, and that's now like doing insanely well on PC. It's they're benefiting from that. They're publishing that game. It's huge. So again, I think this is very good. But to be fair, the Lost Soul aside, that is like part of the China Hero project, we're not really hearing a lot from that. Like it was not in the state of play, which was like shocking to me. So I'm not sure if they are like kind of forgetting about that or just not caring as much. But that is one of those games that I think always looked kind of cool. But they're kind of meh about it, kind of muted about it.
leveraging the collective
53 Nights asking, who is this guy? He's the basically the big CEO of Sony, of everything. And then Herman is more in charge of the PlayStation Studios business. Hey, Nighthawk, good to see you.
expertise of Sony Group and collaborating on the strategic investments. One example of this is the new Sony Group engagement platform to connect users and creators, building on PlayStation Network's core backend functions such as payment, data infrastructure, and security. Another area where we are making a significant impact across Sony Group is in environmental, social, and governance. We remain committed to driving forward environmental efficiency, safety and accessibility, and community engagement. These initiatives not only enable us to lead the way with responsible growth, but also positively reinforce our brand values to our players and creators. Fiscal year 2024 was a strong year for us with $30.7 billion in sales and $2.7 billion in operating income.
That is like that's crazy though. Although it's kind of crazy, like the amount of money they spent as well, but it is pretty good though, because they jumped from 29.4 to 30.7, so 1.3 billion. But from that 1.3, 7 billion was actually profit. So it seems like they have the amount of money they're spending, so the more they go over that, the more of that will be profit. So that's an interesting way forward. And I do think during this generation, and especially with GTA next year, it's only going to go up, 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 up. And then at one point, I do think they will have some issues when hopefully Microsoft is fully utilizing their plan and making sure that people... I think Microsoft's job in the next 10 years will be to show, what Sony is doing with their walled garden, it's not good for you. You can way better come to our spot where you can also play your Steam games and play anything, etc.
The platform business has never been stronger, and the studio business continues to deliver engaging experiences for players. As we enter to the second half of the fifth mid-range plan period, we are now focused on capitalizing on this momentum and driving operating income. Haman and I are
Major hit from Concord. They folded that into their operating cost. Of course, yeah.
extremely
I
proud
miss
of the
Concord.
strengths of the business.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation. We have
Are they standing next to each? Are they standing? Wow.
established a solid foundation from which we expect to continue driving sustainable, profitable growth.
And we will continue to inspire our players and creators, pushing the boundaries of play with imagination. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Okay. I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm gonna check something real quick.
The top 5 craziest mounts released in Assassin's Creed games. On number 5, we've got Shadows that let us ride a gigantic 3-tailed fox. Number 4 is for the Pegasus mount, both appearing in Odyssey and Valhalla, that not only looked amazing, but also lets us skip fall damage while jumping from major heights. Speaking of Odyssey, on number 3, we find the Sacred Bowl. On number 2, we've got the Chocobo mount in Origins as a collaboration with Final Fantasy 15. And finally, on number 1, it's not the unicorn mount we saw in all RPG games, with Odyssey even adding a black variant post-launch. No, Valhalla went even crazier as they added the adorable but silly Unibear.
Okay. Oh, did we all hear the TikTok? Well, Joyce, yeah, people heard that already. Did you see the Outer World new preview? How to get the 3-tailed fox? Well, Leo, you're too late. It was at the exchange. We made a we made a short on it. But yeah, that was Joyce indeed. And yeah, I now said that the TikTok was good. So, and you now are spoiled. So, yeah. Please still watch the TikTok. For a split second, I thought my PC was crashing. Well, no, it was not. Okay. Unibear on top. I mean, Codex Seeker. Come on, of course. I forgot my audio was still on, but hey, that's how we roll. That's how we go. Okay, let's do another one real quick because I got another fun idea. I want to look at the biggest reveals and the biggest things from Summer Game Fest. For Honor 2 should be released. That is true. It should be. Okay, so we're gonna look at the biggest trailers and the biggest reveals from Summer Game Fest and kind of go over that. Of course, let me already know what you like the most. Then I'm gonna fill this with water. I'll be back in 5 seconds, and then we can continue. Oh. Boba Shack, I hope you're good, brother. I know you can't say much. Just blink twice if Death Stranding 2 is good. I cannot say anything about that, obviously. But that was like 5 seconds, right? So we're back. We're back. Let's do this. Summer Game Fest happened. What were the biggest reveals and the biggest trailers? I want to go over that, of course, share my thoughts. And of course, I'm also curious to hear what you think the biggest reveal was. Let me know in the comments down below. Overall, I do think this was kind of a muted Summer Game Fest in a way. It had some cool things for sure, but I was missing the what? I did not see that coming. But yeah, I did have some updates on cool games that are coming out. And there are a ton of games coming out, in particular in September and October. Okay, we go over to IGN. They collected all the biggest trailers. So Resident Evil Requiem is actually the 2.1 million views, the biggest trailer at Summer Game Fest. Not really a surprise, because that was also the game that we were all hoping to see. Third person and first person camera this time, so that's exciting. Am I older? Yes. But of course, how they like revealed this, saying that it was not gonna be there and then it suddenly was. I still think that's so weird, and we now had that 2 times during this Summer Game Fest, also with Ghost of Yotei being like, yeah, we're gonna raid this camp. Oh, and by the way, check back in July, because then is when we are actually going to do it. But I thought this reveal was pretty cool, how you at first were like, what is this game? And then eventually, it of course became very clear. Looks great. Of course, they're finally ditching the older platforms. So I still have to play more of the Resident Evil games to really be up to date on everything. But I'm also not really a horror fan. So I know Resident Evil 4 is like the more action-focused title. I should probably at least play that. I know people love that game. But I'm usually a bit too scared. But it's the first big, next to GTA, 2026 game that got a release date. So that is exciting. Invincible Versus with 2.1 million. That is actually interesting. I am older. I already told you that. But that's of course the fighting game. I love Invincible. I still need to watch Season 3. But, and I think a fighting game for this just makes a lot of sense, because all the characters are really, really varied and, a ton of fun. So, I heard from people who played it that it's like, not, and you already see it, it's not like insanely AAA, but it's made by the people who did the Xbox launch game. What was it called again? On Xbox One? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe people in the chat know. The fighting game. Maybe it says it. Xbox One fighting game. Launch title. No, it was Killer Instinct. Maybe it was not at launch though, but it was like close to launch. But yeah, it's from like ex-Killer Instinct developers. So it's from ex Killer Instinct developers. Again, I think it could be cool. But I don't know if you could make another game based on this franchise, but I would have preferred that. I do not think if there's like a big enough audience for like a single player game, although I think that would be cool, like an Infamous type of situation. That would be kind of insane. On number 3, we find the game without any gameplay. But this trailer was insane, though. I totally get why this trailer is watched like a lot of times. And I love the name of this game. So it's a strategy game, but I love the name of it. Game of Thrones. War for Westeros. We, of course, had Battle for Middle-earth, and now War for Westeros. I think that's very, very smart. But yeah, it's a strategy game like those Lord of the Rings titles. But this trailer just looked, I think, very, very cool. Like the what if. But yeah, we have to wait and see if the game is actually good. How do you pronounce this? ILL? But yeah, this is of course the one with the final section where they kick babies. That's what. Does this trailer not have that? No, but I get why people love this. Again, I'm not a horror fan, but I get why people like what they're seeing here. But Resident Evil, I think I can manage, but this looks too crazy for me. Another brand new reveal, of course, from a relatively big franchise, The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. So I think this could be kind of cool. It's of course we are not getting the new Mass Effect in a long time, so getting kind of that vibe now, but in the Expanse universe could be cool. So you have like your crew as well who can help you out, and it's a third-person action shooter. 007 First Light is maybe my favorite reveal. I think it might be, actually, because I just love James Bond, and of course having the Hitman team work on it. I think the trailer nailed the vibe of James Bond, and like we of course want a new Uncharted, and we're not getting that, at least for as far as we know. So I think this is the closest, and then having those James Bond elements, those gadgets, on top of that, the cool locations we go to. I can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And they announced it, of course, for 2026. I think it will be before GTA 6. Otherwise, why announce it now, right? Why not wait till Summer Game Fest next year if they are launching in October next year or something? So I hope it's close. I hope it's like also in March or something, or around Resident Evil. What else? The ROG Xbox Ally was number 7, which is interesting. But yeah, of course, new hardware, always big. And one of the, I think the biggest things that was said during Summer Game Fest, where I was actually like, okay, this is impressive, is the fact that they have Silksong on this device. No, it's the fact that everything at the Xbox show is you can play that on this system natively. I think that's huge, because we are all we kind of want a handheld with that is able to play all the console games on the go. And yeah, it seems like we're getting closer and closer to that. It is going to be very expensive, though. The leaked price is $900 for this X version, and you also have the white version, which is probably not as big or not as like good. So you want to get the X, but 900 is of course a huge amount. So yeah, it has the ability to play all those Xbox Showcase games, but yeah, it's for a small audience. Then another trailer I really loved, but then of course, yeah, we have to wait and see if they're actually able to pull it off, because all the pre-launch trailers for Atomic Heart 1 looked insane too. I just love the vibe they're going for, the more varied locations. And I thought the trailer was just very good because it just kept on going with crazy things. And I do think this is gameplay. I do think it is. So I'm just like, I think one of the biggest surprises during Summer Game Fest was that Mundfish, while still launching DLC for Atomic Heart, they are like, their 4th one is still coming out, I think. That they're already working on the sequel and doing The Cube, which is like their MMO RPG shooter type situation. So yeah, I think it looks good. We of course have to wait and see if the game actually turns out great. But hey, I think I love these sort of hype trailers where it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on? And it gets crazy and you don't know what you can expect. So I'm happy that they announced this, and I will be keeping an eye out for sure. Sonic Racers Crossworld, I get it. of course, big IPs, and yeah, seeing like Steve and all those other characters, and Joker and stuff. But the game itself, man, doesn't look great. So I don't know. I hope it's good, but I get why it has many views. Okay, that's interesting that it has quite a lot. So this is a new game from veterans who worked on many big franchises, including Assassin's Creed and the CDPR games. Like, this is all cinematic, like it's not gameplay or anything. But yeah, the idea that you are one guy on this battlefield, I think the gameplay starts here. And yeah, you can command your troops and are then fighting other troops in an open world game. And also, like, next to these battles are also planning and having resources and upgrading your characters and recruiting and training your army. Could be very cool. I think it's we don't have enough games like that. So I think this shot looks kind of insane. So I hope they are able to deliver on that. And honorable mentions, they say Metal Gear Solid Delta, High Life 2, clocked over 500,000. Marvel Token drew... That's interesting that that's not even fair share of success, but it's... You would think that a Marvel fighting game would at least reach 1 million views, right? Deadpool VR, I get it, it's VR. So yeah, Blood of the Dawnwalker, Clockwork Revolutions. So let's look at the what people actually think the biggest reveals are over here at gameranx. The release date for Dying Light the Beast, of course, big, especially because it's on August. We, by the way, on the main channel did a rundown of 7 or 8? 6. I don't know. 6 or 7 games that from the Summer Game Fest that I think you would be interested in. Dying Light the Beast was included there too. And yeah, other single player games as well. So check that out on the main channel. I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment. The release date for Arc Raiders, sure, it was big, but people were expecting it to launch way earlier than October. Stranger Than Heaven, oh, that's of course Somai, that's the Yakuza game, yeah. Fable was completely MIA. There were many, like, that is, I think, why this Summer Game Fest felt so strange. And that makes me worried for what we're moving into. These companies are just, like, gonna be very, very focused on the next 12 months max. And mostly on the next few months. So where E3 was always first we're putting our flag down, this is what the next few years is gonna be of gaming. Now it's like just another marketing point, and then Gamescom will be one, and then Game Awards will be one. And it won't really be that monumental thing anymore. And yeah, we will see some new games, but it's also, yeah, there will be many missing too. Like but Xbox has too many games right now. They have to pick and choose if they want to keep the show 1 hour long. Game of Thrones, War for Westeros, we already talked about that. I think Lies of P, of course, being shadow dropped, that is huge. Wutong Rise of the Deceiver, I totally forgot about this game. They actually have some... Oh, it's still that same trailer. But music and action. So yeah, it's... I don't know. Not for me. I think the picks here are interesting. A gorgeous roguelike. Okay. I totally forgot about this game. That was at the Xbox show, I think. Jurassic World Evolution 3. This was during the Summer Game Fest show. That was pretty big. I can see that. It's launching in October, like every other game. Code Vein 2. There were a lot of sequels announced, like Atomic Heart and also Code Vein 2, where you're like, okay, I did not know that there was gonna be a sequel for this, but I'm happy for people who love this, but it's not really for me. Lego Voyagers, it's of course your It Takes Two with the Lego bricks. Scott Pilgrim on 5, okay. I mean, I know people love that, but Mortal Shell 2, that's of course what they started Summer Game Fest with. Looked awesome, but I heard like mixed things about the first game. I have not played it. Wow, Chronicles Medieval on 3. Again, we touched on that. Want to see more. Early access in 2026 on PC. Atomic Heart 2. I think this looks insane. Like the environment they are creating is insane. Let's hope that it actually works out. And then Resident Evil on 1. And I think it's gonna be a completely different list for GameSpot. Do they have like they don't like Fortnite? I mean, this has already happened. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Oh, that's this is like the Summer Game Fest show that they had. Now, for me, it was really 007. That was like the most hype trailer for me. And there was this one Xbox game. Let's look it up. That I think looked pretty interesting with like the guy, the military guy, fighting these martial arts enemies. Still crazy that they ended with Call of Duty. That's insane to me. That was such a cop-out. Yeah, Clockwork Revolution was awesome too. Again, we talk about that in the main channel video as well. But yeah, the sad part is though, no release date. Like, that's wild to me. With the amount of stuff they showed, it feels like this game is coming out in the next few months. Hope it's still the case though, but then they would have maybe said 2026. Yeah, Beast of Reincarnation is also in that video. I think it looks cool. Blood of the Dawnwalker. Final Fantasy coming. Yeah, this is it, right? I think this looks pretty awesome. This is like the game that I still remember from that Xbox show. It just looks very good. And I just love how it looks like your traditional third-person action game, but you're suddenly this cheerleader as well. I don't know. It just looks very polished already. And just like very, very fluid. And then it just gets crazier and crazier because you have these zombies all of a sudden. And then suddenly you have like crazy bosses who do like martial arts. Boom. Here, what are these bosses? And the environments look great too. Again, I think this game looks awesome. So yeah, this was the one where I was also like, okay, I did not know about this, and this now on my radar. But of course, again, let me know what Summer Game Fest games or what reveals you thought were the biggest in the comments. Subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye. Clockwork will be a game of the year 2029. 53 nights. Stranger Than Heaven mentioned. Yeah, I forgot about it though. I right last week I think, or yeah. 007 looks like Mafia the Old Country. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's so much more going on. Wu-Tang is for the children. Too many big budget games? Really? James Bond to me looked like a character from Fortnite. Really? Yeah, maybe the design is not that interesting, but I think everything else looked great. They just played it very safe. The cube is the one I'm interested in. Looks cool. Yeah, but with the cube I'm mostly like, sounds cool. We have to really see that in action though. We have to really see that in action. Papi doo 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 doo. Let me quickly do do do. Ooh do 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 do. Luke's birthday tomorrow. Really? I didn't know that. I missed a lot of the live streams because of Odido. Well, glad you made it. Luke is 30. No. I know in 30 he's gonna start streaming, yeah. Can't wait for Mafia the Old Country. Looks like it plays a bit like Uncharted. Same from the... Yeah, maybe you're right too, Coach, too. Maybe you're right. We will see. Then drop the Pal World ripoff and there's a time slot. Well, 53 nights, of course. It's easier. They want to save kind of the thing. It's hilarious. Jor doesn't know anything about Yakuza, but the Discord has a lot of Yakuza fans. Well, I'm happy that we have a big, varied group of people that love to watch the content. But I need to catch up on some gaming series. I feel that now that we've been doing these streams, I of course play a lot and have played a lot. But I do feel there are some series that I just never touched, and I think that would be good also for these streams, for the React channel. And other content to kind of get some knowledge on those, get my hands on the controls. So if there was one Yakuza game where I should start, I'm not saying that I'm gonna do it soon, but if there was one that I should start with, Samaya, which one would it be? Ready or Not in July, yes, Concerned Citizen. I saw. I know people are excited for that on PlayStation. Borderlands dropped their prices and pre-order stuff. Oh wow, we can look at that. Let's do that. Yeah, did the embargo lift for people? Is it $80? No, $70. Damn, they have a ton of shit stuff. Borderlands dropped their pre-order info, and no, the game is not $80, which is good to see. Good to see. Let's go over here to the 2K blog, and I'm gonna warn you already. I'm gonna move myself up here. These images that they are using, they are crazy in terms of the actual like colors they use. But yeah, starting at $70, they're celebrating that. I mean, we of course, I am really curious if they change that. I'm really curious if they were going to do 80 and are switching that because of the backlash. But we will probably never know. Either way, it's coming to Switch 2 later. Okay, that's interesting that there's a delay for the Switch 2 version. Because I don't know if that was already announced. I don't think it was. Okay, they will also do on June 21st a Borderlands FanFest livestream, debuts hands-on gameplay from creators, a new story trailer, and more. Okay, so that's when the embargo for people who played the game will lift. Let's look at what they got. So September 12th, of course, is the release date. Pre-order bonus, a Gilded Glory Pack, 1 Vault Hunter skin, so they're including skins now for these Vault Hunters. And an Echo 4 drone skin, okay. Weapon skin. Okay, nothing too crazy. Then if we go to the standard edition, that is basically what it gives you. Then we go again, the colors on this are crazy to me. But here we go to the deluxe edition. Post-launch content. There are two. I'm always immediately looking at the stars. What it says is, consists of separate post-launch DLC packs. Release date of each pack will be announced. Terms apply. I never thought that people were still doing the terms apply. I always did them for the April Fool's videos, but now we still see them. But yeah, this is a pretty cool looking skin. A Firehawk's Fury. And yeah, pre-order bonus. Okay, so basically it's all the post-launch stuff. 4 unique areas, plus new missions and unique bosses. 4 vault cards, unique challenges and rewards, new gear, weapons, vehicles, and cosmetics. The Bounty Pack Bundle. So, This is very interesting. Let's scroll down because I'm curious if they're still going to do... So is that all the DLC they're going to do this time? Okay, so it seems that instead of going for story-driven post-launch DLC, they are going for unique areas. Because they're not talking about story stuff, like new missions, sure. It's interesting though. Normally it would be like, oh, we have 4 DLCs. But this feels more like what they did with Wonderlands. But then obviously bigger. But not as big as what they did with Borderlands 3. So let's see, they're asking $30 extra for that. To be fair, that's not bad. Because again, this seems like quite a lot, although it's kind of hard to say. 4 vehicles, it really depends on how big this is gonna be. The 4 unique areas featuring new missions and unique bosses. If this is like a 5 hours of content, probably not though. We will see. And then we also, again, this is, I just don't know if I can read this. It's like crazy colors. So you get the same stuff as the deluxe edition. You get like another Vault Hunters pack with cosmetics. And you get the 2 new playable Vault Hunters, new story missions and side missions, 2 map regions. So they seemingly divided the content that we would normally get. So instead of having 4 big DLCs, they are also, which I think is pretty cool. So they're adding a new character and then also new story missions and side missions, maybe to introduce those characters. New map regions. We will have to wait and see. Let's see what they say. So that's like $30 more. What? This is so confusing. I'm like reading it. I'm like, what are they doing? This is so confusing. Okay, so they're like, okay, on top of everything that comes with the standard deluxe and super deluxe edition, includes 2. On top of everything that comes with the standard and deluxe editions, the super deluxe edition includes 2 more DLC packs. The Ornate Order pack of cosmetics available in the game at launch, and the Vault Hunter. Okay. Featuring 2 story packs. Okay, they're now going to explain it. When the Borderlands 4 arrives, the looter shooter action on Kairos will just be getting started. We got a huge slate of post-launch content planned, including free update and pay DLC. I really think that the free content they did for Borderlands 3 was insane. Every month they had something big, either a paid DLC or a free one, and the free content was pretty big. So I hope that they got more free stuff coming too. The most significant post-launch additions will come in the form of 2 story packs, which are bundled into the, Vault Hunter pack. Yeah. Each story pack will add a new playable Vault Hunter, an entirely new region of Kairos with extended narrative content, including additional storylines and side missions, and tons of fresh loot and cosmetics to collect. We know that DLC Vault Hunters have been hugely popular with the community in the past Borderlands games, so we're stoked to add 2 more Vault Hunters to Borderlands multi-crew after launch. You can also keep the fun going with the 4 bounty packs that feature more tightly focused content and are bundled into the bounty. Oh my god, the blah, blah, blah. I get it now, but it's like they're trying crazy stuff. Each bounty pack will feature a new area with fresh missions and a unique boss fight. Only 1 though. And plenty of new loot and cosmetics to collect, and a new type of personalized Disney runner vehicle and a vault card with unique challenges. We will share more specifics about how vault cards work at a later date, but you can expect they will work similarly to how they function in Borderlands 3. Playing the game with a vault card active gives you more loot and XP via recurring challenges, which you can unlock additional rewards. We'll be sharing more details about the story packs and bounty packs, but we want to make sure that you know what kind of post-launch content to look forward to when you pre-order, yeah. And of course, Borderlands 4 will receive plenty of free updates to incorporate community feedback, further balance the game to maximize the shooter fun, and even add some sizable free drops that we can't talk about just yet. Again, they basically added some raids post-launch to Borderlands 3, which was really cool. So yeah, more to come on the June 21st. What? Whoa. Okay. Well. So basically, to recap, they are, instead of doing the 4 big DLCs they did for Borderlands 3, they're splitting it up. They are doing again, it really sounds like Wonderlands, but bigger. So Wonderlands had this, like, returning, you went to this area, and then a new region opened up, and then at the end of that region, a boss you would battle a boss, but it was the same boss, but with a different, like, attribute. Seems like they are, for Borderlands 4, doing something like that too. They will add a unique area with new missions and stuff like that. That is for the lower tier people. So if you buy the deluxe edition, you do get access to that. But if you want the new Vault Hunters at launch and the content that is associated with them. So first, I think they only added a new Vault Hunter, but now they're making sure that there are new missions and new map regions, gear and stuff linked to that too. So it's gonna be kind of complicated, I think, how they're gonna roll this out. And I think they are trying their best to explain it, but it is a bit too much. Because it will be kind of hard to explain, or it will be kind of weird for people to buy, for example, the Vault Hunter pack, and then someone else is playing the game and is like, yo, can you help me with this new boss they dropped? And they're like, yeah, sure, I'm coming. Huh, I can't access it. Oh no, because you have to get the bounty pack. But I bought the Vault Hunter pack. Why did I not have the bounty pack? So yeah, it will be interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Borderlands 4. Let me know if you're looking forward to it. Subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye. Isn't that the complete opposite of what they said about the new Vault Hunters in Borderlands 3? Yeah, the Blue Fire first, you're right. So they said that instead of like adding new Vault Hunters, they wanted to add more stuff to, they wanted to add more skill trees and playstyles to the existing ones. Because what they saw is that not a lot of, like, people would just stick to the Vault Hunter they already got. But then everyone was like, yeah, but we want new Vault Hunters because it is way more exciting than a new skill for one of the existing Vault Hunters. So that's why they still added it. East Blue Drew, did you get to play Chrono Odyssey? I was invited. I wanted to play it, but then it was very limited. You only could play during one day and I wasn't able to. Borderlands is fun shooting, yeah. But you need to get an Excel sheet if you want to know what you pre-order. One thing worrying about Hell Is Us, that a very common complaint for people who have played it, is that the comment is very good. Well, McMotorhead, yeah, I'm curious about Hell Is Us too, or I'm worried that it just will be drowned with all the other games. Oh, that's another cool video that we should do. Look at all the new game releases. It's getting crazy. But thanks everyone for watching. Hope you had a great time during this stream. I think we're gonna do the 4 PM stream, or maybe 4:30. So yeah, basically the starting time that I did today will probably be the starting time moving forward. But yeah, you can just see the countdown, of course, on the live channel. But thanks everyone for joining. I really appreciate you. I love doing these shows, of course, every Monday. Catch up, and I hope you have a great week. And yeah, check out that Summer Game Fest video that we just put up on the main channel if you haven't already.